Hi, marry me. So this is just going to be a quick little video with some ideas for how to use these kinds of psychic testing cards. How to use them as a tool to develop spiritually and magically develop your intuition at home. Because they are very common to buy at various forms of occult stores, but a lot of people don't seem to know what to do with them. And I am of course talking about these cards that have these typical shapes. Now the deck I have here begins with two cards, which are basically as the title card and instructions, and then there are a lot of cards that are colors, and then there are shapes, but there are various versions of these, and basically they are commonly used in a lot of research on psychic abilities to see if you can then basically pick up what the cards are without looking at them. And I think that first of all, one thing that many people do wrong when they work with this is that they get very disheartened when they have bad results. And the point is, if you are in a lab, let me just adjust the camera a little bit. If you are in a lab trying to have your psychic abilities proven, of course then there's something at stake when it comes to getting good results. But when you are just using this as a training tool yourself, it really doesn't matter if you do well or not, because really what you're doing is you're trying to get better. You're trying to develop your intuition, and if you have crappy results, okay, then you just have to do better next time. Now, I don't believe that some people have psychic abilities and others don't. No, I do believe that some people have more developed psychic abilities and some have more talent, but everybody can develop this. So some people think that, oh, I did one of those tests and it didn't really turn out so well, so obviously I'm not psychic. No, it doesn't work like that. It's like saying, I sat down beside a piano and I couldn't play a melody, so obviously I can never learn to play. Usually in most people these abilities needs to be developed. So anyway, here's a few ideas for what to do with them. Now, a lot of people said you have to be two people. That meaning you have to have some person to hold it up, and then very often the point is that the person holding it up focuses on the symbol, or in the other cards the color, and you try to pick that up. That is more an attempt at telepathy than at seeing the card yourself, and that can be very useful if you have somebody to work with. But you can also just shuffle the deck, lay it face down, just like if you would lay it out a solitaire, and then try to see yourself what it is. Like, for example, have a thing that you do when you have the time. You just lay out 10 cards, just write up somewhere your result, and you should also write up things like what weather is this, what moon phase, because some people are more psychically aware on certain phases of the moon, for example, than on other phases. Anyway, just lay them out, try to feel each card, and write up how many you have that you get right. Another thing that you can do is that you can decide that you're going to look for one shape. Then you might want to put the cards down, for example 9 cards in a grid, so 3 cards, 3 cards, 3 cards, and then you can sit with your pendulum and say, I want to find a star, and you work with each card trying to find the card. One thing where you can do that is you hold your pendulum, You ask, is this a star, and see if it gets right, if you get yes or no. Another thing you can do is that you can ask, can you find me a star, and just hold it over there until you come to the section where the pendulum reacts. So that's one thing you can do with them. Another thing that you can do with them is that you can just sit when you're doing things without really looking at the cards. Perhaps when you're watching TV or your mind is otherwise occupied, you just sit there with the cards and you decide that you're going to try to find all the triangles. So you just sit there with a deck like this and just sort through them and just pull out every one you think is a triangle. That's another way you can do it. And of course, if you have a friend, and you can always try to you decide a time of day where one is the sender and one is the receiver. One pick up a card and look at it and try to send to the other, and the other just draw something, write the date and the symbol, and of course the other person also do the same, and then you can compare notes. There's a lot of things you can do with these cards. The same with the color ones. Some people have easier to pick up colors than to pick up shapes. For me, however, I like to use these color ones for color therapy rather than psychic development things, and I like to divide with them. I have a deck I made myself, it just have different colors, but these is easier, and it's a very simple way to do divinations. Basically, the color green I associate with money, I associate it with love, I associate it with healing, and so on. So let's say I want to ask, how will the health situation of my friend, let's call her Lisa, how will it be? And I draw 3 cards and I see yellow, I see green, and I see red. I would probably then interpret that as yellow, meaning that there will be some problem with the stomach area. And we say that there are probably some emotional issues that might cause it. She might be stressed. She might otherwise, basically it might be the emotional thing that causes it, but that it will heal, but that she needs to stress less. So just to make a very simple explanation, so it can be used to that, but basically you can use it the same way, basically like I've said the others. So you can definitely use these yourself. I do recommend getting one of these decks. If you can, of course, it's very nice to have those that have colors as well, but the shapes work very well. And like I said, my main advice would be to not be so concerned about your results. Do the best you can, and the results will eventually improve. Because really, when you're doing this yourself, you are not trying to impress anyone. You are not trying to. So when you start out, it probably won't work very well, and it also, you will have days when it won't work very well. So basically, just noting and do as good as you can, and it can be a great way to develop psychically. So yeah, generally the typical ones you have squares, and you have X's. Yes, I have to enter them because I'm sorting them out. You have circles, you have stars, you have triangles, and in most you also have wavy lines, but my deck doesn't. So yeah, basically generally 5 or 6 different designs. And for the colored one, I have black, yellow, that doesn't show up very well on my camera, green, blue, red, and that appears to be it, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, these are very useful. You can definitely work with them on your own. I recommend, for example, just doing it when you get up. It doesn't take long to have one of those 9 or 10 cards layouts. Just shuffle the deck, lay the cards out, quickly try to feel which card is which symbol, write it up, get on with your day. It's a very good way to just get your psychic muscles started at the beginning of the day. So yeah, that was just my very quick little video about using these kinds of cards on your own. Let me see if I can find what company has made this deck, because it is pretty good. I don't like that it doesn't have wavy lines, but yeah. This one is by International Imports, and it's called 50 Card Instructions, Colors and Symbols, ESP Test Cards. So with the time I can just read the instructions on these, because it's sort of instructional. ESP deck consists of 2 sets of 25 cards each. One deck is composed of 5 of each of shapes, symbols, square, circle, cross, triangle, and star. One deck is composed of 5 each of colored dots, black, blue, green, red, and yellow, like we saw. Symbol cards and color cards are separate. The decks and not to be used together. I think they can definitely use them together, but of course then it will be more difficult, so you might want to start with either symbols or colors, and then use both when that starts to get easy for you. Of course, the black circle and the black circle might be confusing, but other than that, I don't see why you can't do that. Any test should consist of 4 sortings of the 25 card deck. After each trial, record the results so that psychic abilities can be evaluated after 100 cards have been handed. Now, I don't like those instructions. Why don't I like them? Because basically it says psychic abilities can be evaluated, but it's a very much day to day. I mean, I have had days where I get a near perfect score, and I have days when I really can't do anything. And also, often this takes too long. Very often these sort of things can be used to a lot more than just testing whatever or not you have psychic abilities. Because that might be, if you're gonna test something in a lab, that might be useful, but if you're gonna train psychic abilities on your own, you don't really need to test it like that, you need to develop it. And you can use these for development tools, of course. Using 100 cards let you calculate percentages, but you might as well use 10 cards and do that more often. I think that will develop things a lot better than rarely having 100 card spread. Continuing here. Once the deck to be used has been decided, make up 5 headings for the symbols or colors to be used and place them across the table so that the test cards can be assigned to a position as the subject decides where the cards belong. So this is another method to do it. Choose the symbol of color cards and shuffle thoroughly. Without looking at the face of the cards, sort them one at a time into stacks, placing each pile those you feel are the same as the heading. Basically say, here are stars, here are circles, here and so on. you just sort through the cards, say that should go on the circle card, that should go on the, basically, so that you sort it out. It's a version of the one I said about saying, okay, I'm gonna find all the stars or all the triangles. Handle each card only once, holding it as long as you wish before making a decision. But once the card has been placed in a pile, do not change it. When all 25 cards have been placed, turn each stack over and record the results. So yeah, that's a useful way to do it. But like I said, it takes longer than just having it that simple. Basically, lay the cards out, say this is a star, this is a circle, this is a so and so and so. And just because that takes you a minute, and it could be a nice start of the day. So basically both tests works depending on how much time you have. Clairvoyance test. Conduct a test for ESP, except the tester shuffles the cards. That was ESP test, the one I said earlier. The tester then looks at the face of each card in turn without allowing the subject to see it. The subject studies the tester for as long as necessary and begins, and then signals the tester to place the card into one of the 5 stacks. Continue until all 25 cards has been handled. Then turn cards over and record the result. This test can be conducted with various people, for subject may be able to read some persons better than other. So basically the same thing, just having somebody else do it so that it's basically telepathy instead of intuition. Then we have the final card. It says test results. Pure chance is that 1 out of 5 cards sorted will have been judged correctly. Each test should be given 4 trials, resulting in the chance that 20 cards out of 100 handled will be correct. 25 to 30 correctly sorted cards indicate good psychic abilities. 30 to 35 correctly sorted indicates excellent psychic abilities, and 35 or more correctly sorted cards indicate remarkable psychic abilities. The problem is, by doing tests like this, yes, they indicate something. However, like I said, you have people who are amazing psychics. You just bungle the tests one day and do them very well another day. And also some people just can't do these tests and do amazing with tarot cards, for example. So it isn't a be-all end-all, but a lot of people think so. So use it for what it is. It's an indication, and it is a great way to develop psychically, which is a lot more useful than some piece of cardboard telling you you're psychic. For additional ESP material, tests and recording sheet, books, etc., ask where you purchase these cards or write the publisher. Yeah. So yeah, it seems this ended up like a mini review of this deck as well. It's good. The instructions are easy to follow, though I do think they should have had some instructions for how to use them to develop your psychic abilities too, because this sort of just assumes that either you have psychic abilities or you don't. It doesn't work like that. Everybody has them, but they just need to be developed. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video with a few ideas of how to use a deck like this. You can definitely use what's on the card, but like I said, there's a lot of ways to use them in your everyday life to sort of just develop your intuition. Another way you can do is that you can just have them on your counter, have them shuffled on your counter, and when you walk past, you can just pick up the first card, try to feel what it is, turn it over and see if you were correct. Basically, I feel that the more you try to use your intuition, the stronger it will get. So that while that might not be a good way to test things, it's a good way to develop. So yeah, that's my little hints for how to use these decks, as well as a review of ESP Test Cards, Extrasensory Perception and Clairvoyance, 50 cards, instruction symbols, colors and symbols, by international imports. So yeah, have a great day and blessed be.